The last bench to first rank, a life-changing journey. In a small town in India, there was a boy named Aarav. He was known as the last bencher, not just because he sat at the back of the classroom, but because he was the kind of student teachers usually ignored and classmates barely noticed. Aarav wasn't dumb, but he lacked motivation. Every time he tried to focus on his studies, his mind wandered. He'd fail math tests, forget homework, and often find himself being scolded in front of the class. The label of useless slowly started sinking in. Teachers gave up on him, and he gave up on himself. But one teacher didn't. The turning point. Mrs. Sharma was the new science teacher. She noticed Aarav sitting at the back, disengaged. Unlike others, she didn't see a failure. She saw potential buried under low confidence. After class one day, she called him over. "Aarav, do you know why most students fail?" she asked. He shrugged. "Because they believe they will," she said. "What you believe becomes what you do. And what you do becomes who you are." That evening, those words stayed with him. It wasn't a dramatic transformation overnight, but it sparked something inside him. 1 hour a day. The next day, Aarav made a deal with himself. Just 1 hour of focused study every day. No distractions. No phone. Just pure effort. First, it was difficult. He didn't understand half of what he read. But slowly, his brain started to catch up. Concepts started making sense. That 1 hour became his sanctuary, a place where he challenged himself instead of running away. He began asking questions in class. He started sitting 1 row ahead. His marks improved, not drastically, but enough to surprise his teachers. His confidence was still fragile, but it was growing. Then came the midterm exams. Pain of failure. Despite his efforts, Aarav only managed average marks. His rank was still near the bottom. His classmates laughed, saying, "What did you expect, last bencher?" That evening, he sat on the terrace, tears in his eyes. He wanted to quit. But Mrs. Sharma's words came back. "What you believe becomes what you do." He wiped his tears and promised himself, "I will not quit. I will rise." Rise of the warrior. Aarav doubled his efforts. He began waking up at 5 a.m., using the quiet morning hours to study. He made flashcards, solved previous year's papers, and watched educational videos online. Slowly, he realized something powerful. It's not about being the smartest. It's about being consistent. Every small improvement built on the last. His doubts turned into understanding. His weaknesses became strengths. His classmates who used to mock him began asking him for help. By the time the final exams arrived, Aarav wasn't just ready, he was determined. The results. When the results were announced, Aarav couldn't believe his eyes. Rank 3. He had jumped from the bottom to the top 3 in just 1 year. The entire class was stunned. The last bencher had become a role model. His parents cried tears of joy. Mrs. Sharma smiled silently, her belief vindicated. But the story doesn't end there. Beyond the classroom, Aarav's success didn't just change his academic record, it changed his mindset. He realized that no dream is too big and no student is too small. He started mentoring juniors, helping them overcome the same fears he once had. He gave talks at school events, sharing his story of transformation. Years later, he would go on to become an engineer. But more than that, he became a lifelong learner, a believer in growth, grit, and gratitude. Key lessons for every student. Labels don't define you. People may call you lazy, dumb, or weak. Ignore them. Only you can define who you are. Small efforts matter. You don't need to study 10 hours a day. Start with 1 focused hour. 1 step at a time. Failure is not the end. Aarav failed many times, but each failure taught him how to succeed better. Failure is a lesson, not